Good morning, it's Rob Corder here again, editor of Watch Pro. We're joined this morning by Fabienne Lupo, the Chairwoman and Managing Director of Fondation de la Haute Horlogerie, or FHH as we'll call it from now on. She's been in that position since 2010, running what used to be called SIHH and renamed this year into Watches and Wonders Geneva, which show that typically has around 30 watch brands, pretty much all of the Richemont brands, plus a hall of artisan independents, so 30 brands in total. And now for the 2021 edition of Watches and Wonders, the show will be joined by a consortium of brands fronted by or led by Rolex and Tudor, Patek Philippe, Chopard and Chanel, who left Baselworld, as many people will know, last week, and said that they will be setting up a new show alongside Watches and Wonders Geneva, and that show will also be run by FHH. So we assume Fabienne Lupo will be in charge of that. Now, of course, there are huge numbers of questions unanswered at this stage about what will happen in Geneva. We know the show will take place in early April, but we don't actually have fixed dates yet. So anybody hoping to jump in and make their hotel reservations quickly before everything triples in price is going to have to wait a little bit longer. I think it'll be like waiting to buy Glastonbury tickets. You need to know the exact details and then sit by your Expedia.com booking to jump in there. But then again, in the past, SIHH, the brands have paid for retailers and the press to go to the show. We don't know whether that's going to happen next year or not. Big question mark over what's going to happen to the smaller brands. I mean, if Baselworld doesn't take place next year, LVMH are out, Swatch Group is out, Rolex, Patek, the brands that we just mentioned are out. But they provided the platform for so many smaller brands, independent brands outside of the groups, artisan brands, Japanese brands, German brands. There's really, Baselworld is still, I suppose, their home for next year, but there's a big question mark over whether that is going to be the right place for them. And there is no answers at all about whether there is space for them in Geneva. So a lot of questions. In order to get this interview with Fabienne Lupo, I had to agree not to ask too many questions about what's planned for next year, and I think it's fair because it's very, very new news, and she may not know the answers to them. But we'll see if we can sneak in a couple of questions. What we're supposed to be talking about today, and what we will be talking about today, is the launch of watchesandwonders.com, which on Saturday this weekend will be a platform for launching all of the watches for 2020 by the 30 brands that would have been taking part in the 2020 Watches and Wonders Geneva exhibition. So we're going to hear mostly about what that online platform is all about. But as I say, we'll see if we can sneak in a couple of other questions that I'm sure you're all going to want the answers to. So the next person you see will be Fabienne Lupo. I can hear you perfectly. I can see you as well. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. You must be extremely busy right now.
Yes, quite a few. Yes, it's a busy time, but as we said here, there are good problems to have.
Yeah, absolutely good. You're certainly in an interesting position at the moment, but at the same time, you're like the rest of us, working from home, presumably, or are you able to get out to the office? Is your team out and about?
No, we are all working from home. Actually, I'm in my living room.
Okay.
So no, we are all working from home, and we did that great challenge to unveil this new platform, digital platform, in a very short time frame, and it was yes, a big challenge for all the team, because we are all confined at home, and we have to work with all the brands who are also confined at home. So it's a very weird period.
It sounds like a technical nightmare. I mean,
Yeah.
not many of us have developed websites, and we're in the media,
Exactly.
so we're supposed to be good at this sort of thing. But I can't imagine how difficult it must have been.
Yeah, what is difficult really is to be ready on time, because we need to put together all the brands, get the content, get our own content, so and developing also the platform, and yes, so it was a quite challenging initiative, but we had to put it together finally in less than 5 weeks. So it was. In that situation, it's so I hope, finger crossed, that it will go as we plan.
Well, exactly. I mean, what I know, because I'm in the media, so I'm getting all of the press releases from the brands and from your team, is that, you know, this is an event. This is something that you're switching on at midday, I think, Swiss time. Is that right, on Saturday?
Yes, midday.
Midday.
No, not midnight. Midday.
Midday. Sorry.
Yeah, at noon, Swiss time, on Saturday, 25th of
So
April.
that's pretty terrifying, because
Yeah.
it's been well publicized, and since, you know, Rolex and Patek have moved over to Geneva, the publicity has ramped up even more.
Yes.
It's open to consumers, so I mean, there could be millions of people dialing into the same website, and you know, that can crash websites.
I hope not, but yes, for the time being, we are focused on the launch of this new watchesandwonders.com platform, yeah. And the news from the other brands is another subject. So sure. we don't want to mix, because but you're right that we have a great actuality. So probably people will be very interesting in. But for the time being, we are talking about watchesandwonders.com, nice. And the presentation of the novelties of the brands. We were supposed to participate in the physical event Watches and Wonders Geneva in April 2020.
Yeah. So how will it work? Well, I mean, I'm sure you won't want to reveal everything, but what are we going to see on Saturday, and who is it designed for? Is it for the press? Is it for retailers, which is what SIHH in the past used to be for, or is this really targeted at consumers?
So what you have to, what we need maybe to understand is that you know that this project of platform was already on tracks, because it was part of our strategy to develop the whole Watches and Wonders ecosystem, let's say online and offline. Okay, so online it will be this platform, this new rendezvous for the watch community worldwide. And of course we have still the offline events, so the shows. Of course, the main one, the master one, will be the one in Geneva, but we plan also to have other events in the world. So this is our strategy to build all this Watches and Wonders ecosystem to really celebrate excellence in watchmaking. So this is really important to understand. And of course, with the unveiling of this platform, we had to, due to the cancellation of the physical event, we had to fast track a little bit our digital initiative. And so we decided to keep the momentum, the plans, and the dates, the originally dates of the show, to unveil this first phase of the platform. Because of course, on the 25th of April, not everything will be completely ready. That means in the first phase, we really want to offer to service our brand and to propose them a platform of communication to present their novelties, their brand announcements, and of course also with the curated content of the FHH, with the point of view of our experts, of opinion leaders in the industry. So this is really a rendezvous online for the whole community and watch lovers. But to answer to your question, with this platform, we want to reach out to all our audiences. So of course, retailers, journalists, but not only, and more and more, you know, that we are building a relationship, close relationship with end customers, clients, and so it's what we did already with the past edition of the SIHH. And now with this platform, the ambition is really to reach out to these new audiences and to bring more people on board of the watchmaking journey.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we could both agree that it's difficult to recreate the magic and the excitement of walking into a trade show and seeing the watches face to face and everything else. But it occurs to me that there are some upsides, and it is that consumer reach that has never really been possible before. Even though there's been a day for consumers that's been added to SIHH in recent years, they haven't really had the access to the product at this time of year before.
Yeah. Yeah, but as you know, we open up the doors of the SIHH since few years now. So we already started this transformation. You know that the SIHH was the past year not more only a trade show. Of course, it was a trade show for the retailers, for the press, to discover the novelties of the brands, but the idea was to also reach new audiences, and we did already this move in the past few years with the SIHH, inviting more end customer clients, millennials also, new media. So it was supposed to be this year the total transformation of our physical event in Geneva, end of April 2020, with this new formula was Watches and Wonders Le Salon in Palexpo, and the entertainment program we plan to have in the city with the formula we called Watches and Wonders in the City. So the idea of this year was to have a kind of salon in and off, with the celebration of watchmaking for the general public within the city.
I thought that was going to be a great idea, and it's a real shame that we never really got close enough to hear that much about what was planned. I mean, did it involve retailers in the centre of the city, street parks?
Also, yes.
Was that how it was?
Yes, finally we didn't really had the opportunity to present you our plans for this edition of Watches and Wonders 2020, but the ambition was really to create a kind of festival of fine watchmaking within the city, because it's important, that Geneva is a cradle of watchmaking, and finally there were really no general public event in that city, and it was a pity, of course. So we said, okay, it's important for Geneva, for the region, for the country, and also for the tourists, to put Geneva on the map for as a watchmaking destination. For us, it was really our ambition. And so we decided to put all together the initiatives of the brand, of the participating brands to Watches and Wonders, but also museums, schools, to have a kind of celebration of our industry. And we planned to have exhibitions. We planned to have live demonstration of métier, of master watchmakers, but also of métier d'art, engraver and emailer, just to show especially to the young generation, what kind of jobs they are behind, and how passionate are these people doing these jobs. So it's always it was really the idea to bring watchmaking to the public, and to show the behind the scene, let's say, because we are quite closed industry, and you know, sometimes it's quite difficult to understand what there is behind, to understand the complexity of the products, to understand the complexity of the conception, the production, the design, and the idea was really to explain, to propose a new perspective for the general public, and of course the plans were also to have special visits of the manufacturers, special boutiques, animations, activations, with specific collection, with patrimony pieces, with exceptional pieces, with a program also of talks, of keynotes from industry key player. So this was the program we were supposed to run during end April in Geneva. But don't worry, this just will be postponed to next year, and I'm sure it will be even richer next year.
Well, I hope so. It sounds like a brilliant program. I know you don't want to talk very much about 2021, but there's a few clues there, hopefully, about this scale of your ambition to involve the whole of the watchmaking community. And I think it's brilliant, because I think within the exhibition centre, you'll of course have the trade and the media, and probably just real hardcore collectors who would have space in there. But around the rest of the city, you can have people who are, very much less expert in terms of what's going on. So I think that's a brilliant move. Yeah,
because it's always very difficult to address all these audiences with the same format, So of course, because the needs are different. Retailers, press need more times, more deep insight in the pieces. Not necessarily the general public who are not interested maybe in the same things. So it's why we had imagined these two different formats to address these different audiences.
Okay, well, definitely look forward to that. Now, Watch Pro, as you know, is read by the trade as well as watch enthusiasts. So I can see that consumers are going to benefit in some ways from the online presentation this year, but I'd be a little bit more concerned about how much the trade is losing, because ordinarily this would be a time when they're having meetings with the brands, they're planning what they're going to buy for the rest of the year. All of those sort of buying meetings and touching and feeling the product we can't have. So what are you doing to sort of to try to bring those wholesale retail professionals together with the brands, or is that something that's really can't be achieved on watchesandwonders.com and has to really be achieved between the brands and the retailers this year?
Yes, I think it's more because this commercial relationship between brands and their retailers. It's more the responsibility of the brands, let's say, because they used to work on a day-to-day basis with all their commercial partners and retailers. So I'm not sure, depending on the brands, but I'm not sure they really need this kind of platform to have this presentation. Of course, especially because digital allows to explain a lot of things and shows and experience, but it's always very. It will never replace physical appointments. Because we need to, especially with our products, with watches, we need to touch them, we need to feel them, we need to try them. So it's I think the digital platform won't be able to replace physical appointments and meetings and physical events, and it's why it's really this ecosystem offline and online that we want to propose. But to answer to your specific question, it's true that this platform will address also to the retailers, but I think it won't substitute the relation with the brands and the retailers.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I mean, leading on from that, the timing is quite problematic. I mean, the retailers that I'm speaking to at the moment, they're all working from home. Their shops are closed. They're desperately trying to hoard cash to keep their businesses afloat as they go through. The last thing they really want is a phone call from the brand saying, you know, do you want to buy your watches for Christmas now? They don't have that sort of cash. And I think that's why the likes of Rolex and Patek Philippe have postponed their launches until, well, in Patek's case next year, but in Rolex case we don't yet know. I just wonder your views on the timing of the end of April, sticking to that timing at a time when ordinarily the retailers would be buying. This would be their key buying moment, and as things are, it really isn't.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But it's true that of course this platform is mainly a communication platform. So for more for press and also for the whole community, but it's not a trade show platform for sure. And so we wanted to keep the momentum also, because it was important to because all the brands have worked to be ready on time. So they are ready with their novelties, not all, because some are the manufacturers, the workshops, the subcontractors are closed. So some are not ready and will be ready later on, and will join the initiative later on. But for the one who are ready, I think it was important to keep the momentum, and that really wants to be all together in a same space at the same momentum to unveil their novelties, especially in this particular period, or we are all isolated at home, and it's important that to gather together our initiative, because I think we will be stronger together.
Absolutely. And if I could just end and ask a little bit about FHH as an organization, if that's okay.
Yeah.
What is FHH for those that don't know? Who owns it? Who controls it? Who contributes to its direction? Just a little bit on that. Just explain about it.
So the foundation, the FHH, it's a private foundation founded now 15 years ago with three founders, Richemont Group, Audemars Piguet and Gérard Perregaux at that time, 15 years ago. And the ambition of the foundation is really to promote the culture and know-how about fine watchmaking, because it was important, especially at that time where everybody was telling, okay, I am the best, I am doing fine watchmaking, etc. So the idea was to try to put a definition of what is fine watchmaking, as for instance le syndicat de la haute couture did it for haute couture in France. So the idea was to define the specific perimeter of fine watchmaking. And so we had this huge work done with a white paper of fine watchmaking, giving criteria and to approach this definition of what is a product of fine watchmaking and what is a brand of fine watchmaking. So this was our first job, and then the idea was to really to spread the words about fine watchmaking, about the knowledge, about the culture, about the know-how, and it's why we have developed different activities. The first one was an activities of information, and we had developed this website hautehorlogerie.org, which is a kind of encyclopedia of fine watchmaking, telling the history, giving the details of complications of famous watchmakers. So it's really kind of Bible of of fine watchmaking. You can find all the answers you have on watchmaking. We have developed all the digital tools like the SIHH journal, which is more our communication journal for the actuality of our brands. And of course, we have developed also exhibitions, thematic exhibitions, to give a special point of view on different momentum and subject of fine watchmaking. We have produced, we have edited books, we are organizing forums, and we have also, what is important, developed our SIHH Academy, which is really today recognized like the reference institution for the training of the staff from the brands, from the retailers, to give them the general culture and know-how and knowledge, sorry, about fine watchmaking. And we have presential trainings, but also online trainings, and we have now trained, I don't remember how much, but maybe more than 20,000 people in the world, in all, I think in 16 different languages. So we have trainers in the world. And so all this content that we have produced during all this year, will be also, let's say, reformatted to be present on the new digital platform watchesandwonders.com, because we have all this educational content, expert content already produced, but also we will produce new content, of course, and this it's really today considered like the reference content, the authoritative content for our industry.
Mm. And as an event organizer, because we know you best for SIHH, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you a big enough organization to scale up if you had to run a show with hundreds of exhibitors rather than just a few dozen?
The show organization is typically the agility to increase the staff and to decrease the staff. So it's exactly what we know. It's our job, huh? So we know perfectly how to do so. So of course, we probably will need to increase a little bit our teams, but it's usually what we are doing each year when we are organizing the salon, because we are a permanent team. But during the salon, we hire a lot of people just to increase our capability to run such a big show.
And I think our viewers might be reassured to know that before you joined the foundation, you ran the Marseille International Fair, which had 1,500 exhibitors. So,
exactly.
Sky's the limit for you.
Exactly. No, it was completely different, and you cannot compare because they were big and small exhibitors. But it's true that a general public fair like the fair in Marseille, it's typically a huge fair. It's with I remember, if I remember well, we had 500,000 visitors in 10 days. So it's a huge event. It's a huge event. It's like a concert, It's
it's good to know that you can deal with a show with big exhibitors and small exhibitors, because that's a skill that might also be needed.
Yeah. No, we will. It's really our job, and our team is really motivated to run this new project, of course, and we are ready for that.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to it. Do you have a date yet?
Not yet completely. We are still in discussion to have the exact dates, but I promise I will let you know as soon as possible.
But I think you've already said that it might be a longer show than the last.
Yes, probably yes, probably because of course with a number of brands, probably it will be a little bit longer. Yeah.
Great. All right, Fabienne, it's been wonderful meeting you, and thank you very much for answering all those questions. It's been really, really interesting.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.